For me, International Women's Day, it means a lot to me. If I'm looking at the facet of being a Zimbabwean, and a Zimbabwean woman for that matter, it reminds me that I am still ages behind in order for me to be where I'm supposed to be. Because I'm looking at the number of women who are in the decision-making positions. When you look at the public boards that we have, and you are looking at the parliament that we have, you'd find that there are fewer women who are in there. So for me, as a Zimbabwean, I look at us as women that we are still far behind, and we are running in order for us to be somewhere where we want to be. So that's how I look at it. And so for me, International Women's Day, it reminds me that we as women, we still have a journey, and we need to keep pushing. We need to keep going in order for us to be at 50 or even over 50 in parliament or in decision-making processes. And as a woman in general, I commemorate International Women's Day with happiness, and also with a fight in a way where we are living in a patriarchal society. So as a feminist, for me, it's like an opportunity to tell the world that we are still fighting the patriarchal system. And this fight, we need to keep on fighting. We don't need to rest, but we need to keep doing it. And while we are doing it, we also need to involve our male counterparts to fight the battle for us, in order for us to really know that we have fought a fight that would take us somewhere, that would destroy the patriarchal society at work, at churches, at society at large. So that's how I see it, and I take this opportunity to say at least we are celebrating International Women's Day in order for all of us, including men, to fight against the patriarchal system. And as a mother, it is also an opportunity for me to be teaching other girls, to be teaching the young women who are upcoming, to say you are an individual in your own space. You are an individual in your own right. You don't need to be defined by anyone that you are a woman and you are someone who is inferior, but it just tells you that you are a complete human being. So I would urge the girls and young women who are coming up to say, International Women's Day has given us the opportunity to be counted as full human beings who have full human rights, and who also have the opportunities to be go-getters and do what we really want in our own world. But with this, we also need to continue fighting against the patriarchal system in order for us to arrive where we want to go. And as a mother of boys, because I have boys, so International Women's Day for me is like really to say we are women, recognize us. Also know that we are women who have emotions, and you need to accommodate us with our own emotions, and you need to appreciate us, because 24/7 we are running around, we multitask, we do our professional work. As for me, I do professional work, I do business, my business, I manage them, I also do academia, I also do family. So these boys and men, they should recognize that I'm tasking, and I am doing most of the jobs that are not paid for. So they need also to take into account that, and to remind them about time poverty that we also face as women, so that at least they recognize that and respect that. So that's what I take. And as a professional woman, I take it to say International Women's Day, it reminds us that we are now being paid equally as men, because there is an issue of gender gap that has been there for a very long time. So for me, it's a chance to also advocate for other women who are not being paid equally because they are women. But we say gender payment should be equal, whether it's a man or it's a woman who is performing the work, but you should be paid for the work that you are doing. So that's how I recognize Women's Day. And at the same time, I also look at maternity. Because when you look at maternity leave and all that, you'd find that most of the women are disadvantaged when they go for maternity. Some of them, they encounter coups When they come back, they are told that their role has been given to a male counterpart and they are continuing with it and they are demoted. And sometimes when they are also going for their breastfeeding hours, they are not given those breastfeeding hours or their money is taken away from them. So for me, it's really a day that I look at all the facets of women, and I would say this is the chance to really talk about these issues for everyone in the world to appreciate what women are doing, what we go through, and how we are soldiering on. But above all, it is our month to celebrate the achievements that we have done so far. So for me, what I have just told myself is I have the power within me to challenge the patriarchal system, and it starts with me. So everywhere I go, I challenge the patriarchal system, and also it happens even at household level, where my husband knows that I am a full human being who needs to be respected and who needs to be given that opportunity to be an individual. And that has really worked well because my husband respects me, he gives me the space, and I do what I want, and I also co-opt him in my own life. And it's the same thing with my sons. I have just taken it upon myself that I need to break the patriarchal system within them so they understand that they are equal, just like girls. They are equal just like any other woman. So in the house, they do household chores like anyone else, because I'm also preparing them that when they grow up, they need to respect even the wives that they are going to be marrying, the workmates or the classmates that they are interacting with, so that they know that they have the responsibility to do the household chores. They have a responsibility to respect the women that they are working with. So for me, it's more of starting within, where they do household chores. They do everything that is expected of any woman to do. So for me, that's where I start from. And this, I have seen that they are growing up as boys who understand gender equality. They are boys who are understanding gender equity. And when they see unfairness, they are quick to point it out, to say this is unfair, this is a human being, why is this human being treated unfairly? And they are also doing it even for their cousins, the sisters who are sometimes abused by other men, and they are standing up for that because it's something that they would pick up and then they want to deal with it, because I have really inculcated in them that people are the same and they are equal. So for me, that is what I have been doing. And even when I go to my workplace, I always push through that people are equal. Whether it's a woman or a male, we are equal. Even I have challenged some of the spaces where we are having meetings, because for me, I work in a male-dominated sphere. When you are dealing with human rights issues, public policy issues, you'd find that there are many who are there as compared to women. But I always come in with my feminine voice, with my feminine characteristics, but pushing my agenda of dismantling patriarchy, so that people would also listen to women and take the advice of women. And at that national level, actually, my views and some of the views of the women are being considered, because we are pushing through in that realm. So I would encourage every woman to say it starts with you before you take it out there. Because if you are not doing it yourself, it means other people would not do it. And I have seen there are some women, because of socialization, there are some women who are socialized in a patriarchal system, that they are now gatekeepers of patriarchy themselves. They are now like pushing away other women from being innovative or to start new things, because they are gatekeepers of patriarchy. So it's something that I'm like really trying to push. And I would also encourage other women to say, for what you are doing, are you a gatekeeper of gender equality? Are you a gatekeeper of other women? Or you are now a gatekeeper of patriarchy? Without taking it into account. So those are some of the conversations that I think we need to keep pushing out there. Okay, for 50-50, for me, we are going to achieve this if we as women come together. One, we come together as women, we dismantle the socialization that we have in our own mindset that men are the ones who lead. But we are only those people who are supposed to be voting or who are supposed to be backing men. But if we dismantle, if we transform that mindset in women to say we are actually the ones who can lead, we are actually the ones who can be involved in this, that is how we would reach 50-50 representation that we are talking about. So it's more of our own mindset. And our mindset, if we transform it, it would also change our behavior and also our actions. Then we would vote for each other. So for me, the biggest challenge that is hindering us from reaching 50-50 is the quota system that has been extended. So if you look at it, most of the political parties, they are now looking at us just for that quota. And women are now disempowered to go beyond the quota system in order for them to push for positions in the political parties. So political parties are now reluctant to put women and also to have their manifestos and even the legal framework that is really talking about 50-50. They are now hiding behind the quota system. So for me, I would want us to advocate for the removal of the quota system and have a better legislation that stresses the 50-50 in the constitution or in our legal system. That is how we can attain the 50 representation in parliament.